everybody, how's it going? I'm going to let this roll for a second and get things rolling. Texas Fish Room, good to see you. Chris, good to see you. It's another Friday night live stream, and I figure just kind of talk about what's new around here this week. Got some new products in. If you're subscribed to the email list, you will get an email earlier today. I brought in Shrimp King Foods. You probably can't see it, it's right below here. I brought on 5 different Shrimp King Foods, and what the Shrimp King Food is, if you don't know, it's kind of a premium line of shrimp food. I brought in the mineral protein, the 5-in-1, the complete, and mineral. I had to look to see what the other 2 were. They're here, they're ready to go, so if anybody likes the Shrimp King Foods, just another option on the website. Phoenix Lights, for those that participated in the group buy, the Phoenix Lights arrived today, so those will be shipping out tomorrow. Thanks everybody for making it a great group buy. It was the first one I've done, and those lights will be shipping out tomorrow. Along with the Phoenix Lights, I brought in some more lights to have in stock. Also, the Nano Hang-On Back filter, which is what I use on my little shrimp tank in here. I brought a bunch of those in, and also the breeder boxes. So a bunch of those products, I got to unbox them, make sure there's nothing damaged, and then I'll put that inventory onto the website. I'll probably do that tonight. And what else came back into stock? We got a lot of stuff this week. Fluval lights came back into stock earlier this week. So if you're looking for the Fluval 3.0s, they came into stock earlier in the week, and they've been selling. I'm not sure how many are left of each size. What else? Sarah Fish Foods. I got those in earlier in the week. I got the smaller version of the catfish chips. So the big version is not in here. Let me show you. So the big bottle that's normally sitting right here, I brought in the smaller version because Sarah Foods are kind of expensive. They are a premium food. But I brought the smaller version in. So if you want to try them, you don't have to buy the big jar of them. But I got the catfish chips, the veggie flakes, which is the Flora, and what else? I feel like there's the Vipan, and some of the other Sarah stuff is back in stock. I think like the discus granules, stuff like that. Sarah Foods. What else? Expel P is back in stock. I have Paracleanse on order, along with Maricin. That should be here this coming week. Check valves are here. I have some Wonder Shells left. Those have been selling really quickly. And sponge filters are back in stock. There's just like a bunch of random small stuff that came in stock. Fritz Complete, I believe, is sold out. And I went to reorder today, and they don't have any. So it might be a little while before the Fritz Complete comes back in. I think I might have some API tap water conditioner left, but once the API stuff's gone, I'll be switching over to the Fritz brand. But good to see everybody. I want to get in the chat and see what is going on. Sue-Ann, good to see you. Mike, good to see you. Zen Ginger, always great to see you. Dropping the website link. Thank you so much. Shelly Fish, Aquarium Domain, Matt Reed. Matt Reed said, how's the roof holding up? So apparently my little fix I did is working. I don't see any more water coming in. I do have a roofer coming tomorrow to give me an estimate on doing a permanent fix and not my little Flex Seal. Plus there's another section of the roof that the shingles are kind of, I call it like heaving up. Like in one section right in the middle of the roof. So like a year ago I put some new screws in it, try to hold it down, but it's not working. So I'm not sure what the underlying issue is. So I'm having a roofer come tomorrow and give me an estimate to fix everything on the roof. So we'll see how that goes. This week, as far as shipping stuff, products have been selling really well, which is awesome. Hard goods have been going out the door just fine, but fish, I haven't shipped any fish this week, and that is because I'm waiting on heat packs. So the heat packs I were using were the 40 hours. I believe these, yeah, 40-hour heat packs. These weren't working for the fish. This is what I use for the plants now. I ordered what I normally use is the 72-hour heat packs. They were out of stock originally. That's why I went with the 40s, because that's all I could get my hands on. But the 72 hours are back. I ordered them last week, and they're still not here yet. They are coming through the post office, and the last update on tracking said that they were in St. Louis on Monday, and they were supposed to be delivered Monday. So here it's Friday. I still don't have the heat packs. Everybody that has fish orders, I've emailed you just to update you that I'm just still waiting on heat packs. I even sent a screenshot of the tracking number to show like, hey, they were supposed to be here Monday. So my plan was get the heat packs Monday and ship everything out on Tuesday/Wednesday, and I just don't have the heat packs yet. So I don't know when they're supposed to be here. They should have been here on Monday, and it's now Friday. So I'm just kind of in a holding pattern. I think come Monday, if they're not here, I'm going to email the guy. I can't blame the guy because I know it's a post office issue because it shows he shipped them on time. They're just stuck in St. Louis or somewhere. And I've used this guy multiple times. I know he's a good seller, so I might email him and see if he would be willing if I bought like a second batch, if he would refund the first batch if I ship it back to him. I'll pay return shipping, but I need the heat packs. So it was really warming up this week, but the issue was there's still a lot of cold nighttime temperatures, so I can't not ship with the heat pack right now. So I'm just in a holding pattern on the fish. I keep buying fish every week. I brought in more Paliatus Cories this week. And what else did I bring in? Paliatus. More pandas, because the pandas are selling like hotcakes. They're tiny. FYI, on most of the corridoras right now, they're all pretty small. And the pandas are still selling like crazy. So keep bringing them in. And hopefully we get some bigger ones here soon. Now that it's going to be summertime, they'll be able to grow them quicker. Okay, let's see where we're at. Ryan, hello from Minnesota. Hello. Rescue Dog Treats, good to see you. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any questions. Melhead Prime says, I need 4 more Fluval lights, all different sizes. Email me, I'm guessing. Yeah, I can email you, and if you want to do like a bulk order, I'll hook you up with a discount on that. If anybody ever wants to do like a bulk order, like if something big where Fluval lights are expensive, if you order quite a few of them, I can do a better discount for you. I'm trying to scroll. Matt F with a super chat, 614 super chat, 614 Tank Meats, where you at? Thank you, Matt, so much every week with all your support. Marlon said, best chiclets, slow sinking food. The Hikari Gold isn't a bad food. I'm trying to think what else would be slow. I mean, honestly, with my cichlids I've used, I've always just fed Cichlid Gold. And that's something I typically keep in stock until Mr. Melhead Prime bought me out of most of them. And I got some stuff right now, but I'm also waiting. I got more Cichlid Gold on order. It should ship out Monday, so I'm hoping it'll be here Wednesday. But definitely by end of next week. I actually have 2 orders with the same wholesaler. The first order I ordered last weekend, and it never shipped. So I emailed them today, and I was like, hey, just checking on this. Because I saw I got an invoice, but you guys didn't bill me. And they said that my minimum order threshold, I was below it. They have a minimum order, you got to spend $500 or whatever it is with that wholesaler. Well, I know that, and I had, let's say, $600 worth of stuff. Well, when they went to fulfill it, a certain amount of products were out of stock, so it knocked me under the $500. So they put it on hold to see if I add more stuff. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know it was knocked under, and so when I emailed them today, they said they would just go ahead and ship it on Monday. I was like, well, I need to order more stuff anyways because I order every weekend with this company. I was like, I need to order more stuff anyways already, so I'll just add to that order. So I added a few $100s more worth of stuff that hopefully will be here middle of next week. And then I'm trying to think, I got other stuff that should be here sometime in the middle of next week. The Fluval Beta bug bites. I ordered a case of those. And I'm trying to think what else was coming from them. I got some more Eheim heaters coming. I don't know, just a bunch of random products. I'm constantly updating the website, even though I'm not constantly emailing people because I don't want to spam you guys with a bunch of emails like, hey, this is back in stock, this is back in stock. I rather just, as it comes in, I add it to the website. So you gotta kind of keep your eye on if you're looking for something specific, or you can always email me, sales@614fish.com. Metalhead said, if you have any more of those ONIP tabs, I'll take them. Let me know, and I'll try to order and add it to my order or something. I'll just send you another pack, buddy. No problem. Okay, I think I'm almost... Nope, I'm not almost caught up. Chat jumped. Ryan Z came from OFR Live. Much support. Thanks, Ryan. I appreciate you being here. What's your website? It's 614fish.com. Fish and Floral, good evening. Brian said, do more frequent water changes promote better plant growth? Yes. So plants eat not only nitrates out of your water, that's where fertilizer comes in handy of adding more nitrates into your water. The other thing that plants eat are minerals. So whether it's calcium or zinc, whatever other minerals they require, doing water changes, if you're using like tap water, now RO DI water doesn't do anything for plants. There's nothing in RO DI water. Now tap water, if you got hard water, or even you got something in there, some sort of minerals, that the plants are going to benefit from that. And if you really want to supercharge your growth, I always recommend using fertilizer. I have my own house brand fertilizer. It's called 614 Fert. It's $14.99 for a bottle, and I can show you the size because I have it sitting right here. It doesn't have a label on it. I label them as I sell them, but it's a big bottle. It's super easy. It's one pump per 10 gallons. It does come with a pump. It's just the bottle is shipped with a cap. The pump is separate, but it's one pump per 10 gallons, and it's going to add all the micro and macro nutrients that plants want. It's fish safe, snail safe, and shrimp safe. So fertilizer is the best way to supercharge plant growth and or make up for any deficiencies that your tap water might have. Maybe you got soft tap water and it doesn't have certain macros or micros in that water. That's where the fertilizer will help. This tank, these are all farm plants, so they're still converting from immersed grown to submerged grown. Like 2 weeks ago, there was hardly any plants in here, so my nitrate levels went pretty high. Nitrates in this tank right now are probably sitting around 100 ppm, and so I haven't been dosing fertilizer. I'm letting the plants convert and grow, and then let them suck that nitrate level down. Once the nitrates get down to probably 60 parts per million, then I'll start doing fertilizer to make up for any deficiencies. And then with my bigger tanks, I use dry fertilizers that come in like 1 pound bags. And then my small tanks, it's just easier for me to go click, 10-gallon tank, one pump, and I move on. The dry fertilizers, I gotta use a scale, which I don't know where it's at right this second, but I have a little mini scale, and I have to weigh out the dry fertilizers, and there's all different kinds, right? And it's just time consuming to do it for all the small tanks, so I use it for the bigger tanks, and then it also allows me to add extra calcium for the live bear tanks or any tanks with shells, which could be a snail or a shrimp. And I also use eggshells, chicken eggshells, to add calcium to tanks as kind of like a long-term, slow dissolving solution. I also have calcium sulfate that I add for a quicker. Basically, it's a TDS boost. It raises the hardness quicker. Brandon says, what size tank would bamboo shrimp and a vampire shrimp need? Um, Bamboo shrimp get kind of big, so like, compare like neocaridinias. I would like, if I were to do a bamboo shrimp, a 20-gallon long. Bamboo shrimp are the fanning shrimp, so they have their hands out like this, and they catch food particles in the water in their little mitts, and then they eat it. So that being said, you need to have flow in the tank. So you either need a hang-on back filter at one end and put some like driftwood or rocks right in front of it so that water comes out. The bamboo shrimp can sit on top of those rocks or wood and they'll sit in that current. Or you can use a power head. I do sell like the Aquatop pH 8 power heads. You can put something like that if you have, a 40-gallon breeder, a 29, a 20 tall. You just need to get some current in there because bamboo shrimp, and this is the best way to know if you're feeding them right. All they want to do is sit there in the current with their hands out. If you ever see bamboo shrimp moving around picking stuff, like a normal like neocaridina or a mono shrimp, that means they're not getting the food that they want. They're scavenging for food. They want to sit there in the current. So that's why I would say like a 20 long. You could set up a really small power head at one end, and then you could do some aquascaping in the middle and have them prop themselves up. But I would say minimum is a 20 long, or even like a 40 breeder would be a good tank size. If you're trying to stay on the smaller end, 20 long would be the smallest I'd go. Where am I at in the chat? I think my chat's jumping everywhere. I'm trying to keep on task here without being squirrel aquatics tonight. Melhead said the fry love the tabs. Yeah, smaller fish love the O-nip tabs. Matt F said I had no other way to show off the t-shirt I made for Steven. Check out my profile pic. Yeah, he made a couple different t-shirts. One says like do not call 614, and the other one is Squirrel Aquatics. Chevy Fish dropped the link to the fertilizer. Thanks so much, Chevy Fish. Appreciate it. Brian said I dose, but we'll look into your stuff. I also have Osmocote DIY root tabs. I've never used the Osmocote root tabs, so I'm not sure. As far as root tabs, I've used the aquarium co-ops, and then I made my own, which I've mentioned before, and they're actually sitting right here. And it was something I was playing around with the idea of selling them, and I've been testing them on this tank, but I even have the sheet. I made like a whole analysis of like what's in this root tab right now, just so I can see the breakdown for my testing reasons, because I need to change it because I don't think this root tab is doing what I want it to do. So I think I have too much calcium in the root tab, and I need kind of adjust the parameters, and that's just kind of like R&D, if you will. But I'm playing around with it, and we'll see where I end up with root tabs. Okay. Florida Fish Rescue, good to see you. Brian said my nitrates are less than 10. You gotta get that up. So the general rule of thumb that most people go with is like 20 to 40 parts per million. My feeling is if your fish are not sensitive, I keep mine high. So this tank behind me, it's got a breeding trio of Parkinsoni rainbow fish, and they breed in there every single day. It's got super red plecos, and it's also got brilliant bristlenose plecos in there. I don't know if you can see the brilliant bristlenose, but they're the black ones. It's probably too hard to see right now, but they're in there. It's a breeding group of 10 in there. The nitrates in that tank are probably around 100. I can even test them. Let's do a little test. And this reads up to 200. So it reads up to 100, and then the next interval is 200. I guarantee you, I'm probably in that 1 to 200 parts per million of nitrates. And the other thing with these are the Aquarium Co-op test strips. Parts of the pads fall off. Every single one I've used so far, a little piece of the pad falls off. So I don't know if anybody else has these, and if you guys are seeing that issue. I was going to email Candy. Like, I'm not saying it's a defect. Well, it is kind of defective, but they still work. But like a layer of, I don't know if it's like cotton or whatever the pad is, pieces of it fall off on every strip I've used so far. And the rainbows think it's food. They'll eat it and then realize it's not food and spit it out. But yeah, I think it's 60 seconds we gotta wait. 60 seconds. So we'll check that and we'll see what the parameters are on that tank right now. But I'm guessing between 1 and 200 parts per million are on the nitrates. And mainly that's because 2 weeks ago I took most of the plants out, so I basically had a ginormous nitrate spike. And now that these plants are growing and converting, it's kind of a slow process because when they convert, they're actually pulling their nutrients from their own leaves. So there's a lot of leaves that are transparent and brown and dying off, especially this guy right here. That's the plant kind of dying back. It's melting, and then new submerged growth will come up from the middle of the plant. If you ever see a plant do this, don't trim those leaves. Even though they look terrible, they look dead, just let them go. That plant's reabsorbing its own nutrients to shoot out new growth. And that's what happens with any farm-raised plant, because they're grown in the air and not underwater. So this plant has the round-looking leaves, and when it converts to underwater growth, they'll be more needle-like, like this one right here in the front. That's the same plant. Round is above water, needle-like is below water. All right, let's check these results. And on nitrates, we've actually come down. I tested this 2 days ago, and I was definitely in the 1 to 200. We're probably right at the 100 mark. So 100 parts per million on nitrates on that tank, which you're thinking that's really high. The tank does great, and then those numbers will come down. I say next week it'll be even lower. Once those plants, like I said, convert over, they'll do even better. 0 nitrates. Hardness, I always run hard water because I'm dosing calcium. It's over 300 parts per million. I have 0 buffer, no KH. pH is pretty low. We're probably like 6.0 right now. And 0 chlorine, which shouldn't have chlorine in it at all because I run carbon block on my tap water. But yeah, so Brian, back to your question. Less than 10 parts per million and you get those nitrates up. So you can do that with fertilizer or some more fish, more food, more waste, more nitrates. Or stretch out your water changes. Maybe you're changing water too often, but if you're less than 10, that's good. It's good quality water, but for plants, I would recommend, I always tell people to target 40 parts per million. The bottle, I believe my label says 20 because I don't want people to spike. They're trying to get to 40 and spike it to like 300 nitrates because that'd be way too much. But 40 parts per million would be a good goal. 20 to 40. Fish and Floral said, I think I'm keeping my nitrates too low. My plan tanks based upon your 100 level. Yeah, I mean, the consensus online when people are selling fertilizers is 20 parts per million. Even before I was really getting into like planted tanks, I was always going for 40 parts per million because when testing my water, I'm like, well, I'm at 60 parts per million and my fish are doing great. Like they never get sick. They have, there's no issues. And then with this tank, it was an accident that I found out that these guys do fine at 1 to 200, because the first time I had plants, I was still dosing fertilizer, not thinking about the plants converting and not using up nitrates out of the water, but using their own nutrients. I spiked the 200-ish parts per million, and I didn't know it for a few weeks, and the fish did fine. So, you can, if you're running too low nitrates, you can space out your water changes. And let's say you don't necessarily want to raise your nitrates, the nitrate level is a good indication of when you should do your water change. So if you're running less than 10 parts per million and you're changing your water once a week, change your water every 2 weeks and then do your readings. All right, so that way you can say, like, all right, every 2 weeks, I'm still only at 10 parts per million. Well, then you don't need to change it every 2 weeks. You can change it every 3 weeks. And it's kind of like testing. And you test it to find out when's optimal water changes based off nitrates alone. Now, if you got a planted tank and you're trying to grow a lot of plants, then you're going to have to supplement with fertilizer. But if you're not, let's say you got a cichlid tank with some hardy plants, Amazon swords, and all you're interested in is keeping nitrates low, just start testing your water until you stay at 20 parts per million or less. And that water change, that might be once a week, because maybe people tell you got to change it once a week. Maybe you only have to change it once a month. Most of my tanks, I don't change water on, I just do water top-offs. The only time I really change water specifically is for maybe like a breeding project, like the Vienna guppy tank. I'm trying to keep them guys pumping out babies, so I'm making sure that they have crystal clean water all the time. So I'm water changing them once a week, even though that tank technically doesn't need water changed. It does get water top-offs, but because it is a breeding project, I do remove water and add fresh water to just keep them going. Okay. Could you put bamboo shrimp with the panda cories, or will the pandas eat the bamboo? You could put them with them. Bamboo shrimp get pretty big. Corridors will not be able to eat a bamboo shrimp. Let's scroll in. Matt said at SC, definitely email them. They track failures very close. If you're talking about heat packs, I honestly think that was all my fault, Matt. I think what happened was that with the heat packs taped to the top of the box, and when I was padding the box with the extra bags of air, I think when I closed the lid, the heat pack shut down on top of a plastic bag. These only work with oxygen, which is why when you opened it, these were cold, but then they started warming up. So future, a running change of the way I'm shipping fish is now these are going to get wrapped with paper. So whether it's like newspaper, or if I don't have newspaper, crepe paper, I'm going to start wrapping the top of the box somehow. So either the heat pack themselves will be wrapped in paper, or I'll put a layer of paper on top of the plastic bags, so that way they don't get smothered by plastic. I feel confident that was the issue. I can still use these, but right now I'd rather have the longer, just to make sure there's no more fish losses. I'd rather have the padding of the 72-hour heat packs versus the 40. Come summertime, I can maybe reduce or switch off of the 72s to 40 hours when I know it's going to be warmer. But eventually I'll have to switch to cold packs, which I have a full case of those still from last summer. So it's kind of a gamble, because you gotta really watch weather. But I think the 72 hours will be, and the other thing is that the 72, the reason why they last longer is there's more material. These are really thin. The longer the heat pack lasts, the thicker the heat pack gets. And I think with the thicker heat pack, even if it's touching plastic, it's thick enough that oxygen can get to the sides of it. Well, this is so thin that I think they got smothered. Texas Fisherman said, I've been using the test strips, haven't had that issue. Yeah, I probably have used maybe 10 strips so far, and every single one one, like some little square falls off. So maybe it's just I picked 10 out of there's like 200 test strips. Maybe 10 of them just been kind of weird. Like it doesn't bother me because they still work. But it's like one of those things where maybe I should email them just in case there is an issue and they want to fix it. But it doesn't bother me that much. Okay, scrolling. Kelbell said, "Oh, that's cool. I never knew that's why they melted." Yeah, so plants will 100% melt if they're grown above water and you put them underwater. I order my plants from a farm in Florida, and they're all grown above water because they grow quicker. They can pull all the CO2 they want out of the air. They're not limited to the CO2 that's in the water. So all the plants are always grown above water. You get the plant, they melt because they're converting, and that's normal. You still can have a plant melt even if it's already submerged. So this plant that's 100% grown underwater, it's ready to go. If I sold you this plant, it's almost like it goes into shock. So you get this plant, it looks great, you put it in your tank, a few days later it starts melting. Well, that's it kind of freaking out and saying, I need new growth, like something's wrong. And it's weird that plants work like that, but they kind of freak out and they'll melt down, they'll melt themselves and start new growth. And you don't have that every time, but it can happen. It could be that maybe this tank's 84 degrees and your tank's 72. The plant does fine in those temperature ranges, but going from 84 is what it's used to. You put it in 72, it's like, holy crap, something happened. Let me melt and I'll come back. But typically, the bigger the root system, the better. If you get a plant that has a ton of root system, like even if it melts, it'll come back 100%. You shouldn't have any issues with that. Matt F. Oh, I met Aquarium Co-op. Yeah, I'll email Candy. I think I have her on chat. Brandon said, "Thanks for the information. I have a 30-gallon long. What food would you recommend for bamboo shrimp?" So you're going to want something that's very fine in consistency. So you can use even like fry food. So I have like North Fin fry food, the Shrimp King. If it's powdered, and the other thing you do is if you get something that's a stick, some of the Shrimp King stuff sticks, you can grind it up. The other thing, if you're looking to stay on the cheaper end of fish foods, you can just get regular flake food. And let's say you have a hang-on back filter at the end of your 30 long. Take flake food and grind it up in your fingers, and then put your fingers like into the outlet of the hang-on back, and it'll basically dust the tank, and that will work too. You could put food on top of the water, but when it's really fine, it's not going to really want to break the surface tension, so it's going to kind of float around your tank, and eventually it'll sink. You want to try to get that food directly into the current. So I would grind it up in your fingers and then dip your fingers right into that current, and it'll help spread it out through your tank. And then you can even without a power head or hang-on back, if you have like a Matten filter, they still have an outlet pipe on the lift tube that will generate current, and that's what I use in some of my tanks out in the fish rooms, Matten filters. That will generate enough current that as long as you have something propped up, near it, that current can pass through. The bamboo shrimp will stay there, and give them, if you can do, what I would do. You don't have to do this. It's just like I'm thinking if I had a bamboo shrimp tank, some driftwood, super glue, or attach Anubias to it to give them some like hiding spots, and then have that driftwood near the current. I think that would look really cool having wood with the Anubias on it. That'd probably be like a setup I would do. But I would also probably run a power head, because the power head's really going to turn that tank over. So that way if the food gets to the back, that current's just going to come back, and then just kind of do that cycle. Set up the power head kind of in the corner and get a circular motion going. So even if the shrimp missed the food on the first pass, hopefully that food comes back around, they can grab it. Okay, where am I Jim said Dan's Fish puts his heat packs in little brown lunch bags. He recently released a video about shipping. I will have to check that out. I love learning about different ways of shipping. I actually tried shipping fish where he was single bagging them. I did that for a little while, I think last spring. But typically with selling groups of fish, it's just easier to put them in bigger bags. And I had better success with doing larger bags with more oxygen in case any delays in shipping. I just found, just from basically test shipping fish, that survival rates were significantly higher with a bigger bag of oxygen. But the paper bag, that's a great idea. That'd be way easier to just get paper bags. I'll probably go to the store this weekend and get some lunch bags. Hopefully that's not like something people are freaking out with and buying them all, but I don't see that being a major seller thing. Courtney said, I placed my first order last week. I bought a bunch of fish food. Very happy. Courtney, thank you so much for your order. I appreciate it. And what's cool is every time like somebody orders, it like tells me how many times they've ordered from me. So like, let's say Chevy Fish places a 12th order. I have been throwing in, and it's not mistakes. So if you guys are thinking I'm accidentally shipping you stuff, it's not. I've been throwing in ONIP tabs into some random orders. I've been trying to go through what I have left, which is that many. And I just been kind of randomly throwing them into different orders here and there. So if you randomly get some ONIP tabs, it's not because I accidentally throw them in. These aren't listed for sale on the website, so it's not like I accidentally pulled them. It's because I'm just throwing you guys a surprise. So if you ever come across that, that's what it is. I'm trying to think what else. I gotta go up to Ohio Fish Rescue because Josh needed a car speaker for his Audi, and so I used my employee discount and got him a speaker. So I need to take that speaker up to him. So I'm not sure when. So I'm kind of like, I got a lot going on this weekend and not a lot going on next weekend, but I have to be home next weekend because my sister and her family went to visit my parents in Florida, and I took them to the airport today. And I live right by the airport, so whenever her family needs to go out of town, basically what they do is they come pick me up, they drive me to the airport in their car, they unload their luggage, and then I drive their car back to my house. And they go do their vacation stuff, and then when they land, I go pick them up in their car, they load their luggage, and then they drop me off. And what that does is it saves them from doing like an Uber or having to pay for parking, but being that I'm using their car, they only have to load their luggage once. So they load it right at the terminal, and then they can just go home. It's not like if I were to pick them up from their house, they had to load into my car or whatever. But, it's just easy. Well, anyways, squirrel. My sister and her family is down in Florida. They should be landing probably within the next half an hour or so. They're down by Disney, my parents. So my sister and her family, they're going to Disney for, I think, 2 nights. And then they're going to go stay with my parents, I think, for a little bit too. But anyways, the whole reason of that story is they're flying back on Saturday. So I got to be home here on Saturday to pick them up. So I don't know. Plus my parents aren't here, so they can't watch the dogs. So it would be a day trip to OFR. So maybe next Sunday or something I can go up to OFR. I need to take Josh's speaker, and I'm also taking Josh something out of my fish room to give to a OFR fan. I was going to say OFR member or fan or subscriber. There's something in my fish room that a fan really wants, and Josh is making it happen, so I have it, so I'm giving it to Josh so he can give it to the OFR fan. So I'll have to be taking him a bucket of something that's living, and I don't want to tell you guys what's in the fish room that I'm giving because I don't know if he's going to be doing a video or if it's just off screen, so I'm not trying to drop anything, but I'm definitely taking him some animals, and there'll be somebody that's happy. So I don't know all that. He just messaged me about it this week, and I said, yeah, well, let's make it happen. And so I'll be doing that. Maybe I'll set something up with them for like next Sunday or something. But this weekend I got the roofer coming tomorrow, and I need to start doing yard work already. There's a bunch of leaves I've collected. I need to vacuum up and all that crap. So Sunday is yard work, and I need to fertilize. I screwed up. Let's talk about fertilizer that's not aquarium related. We'll get a little off topic. So ever since I moved here, I was like on top of yard work. I hate yard work. It's like busy work. That's why I want like 20 acres to where I don't have to worry about weeds and like what neighbors think and all that stuff. I just want to mow the grass around the house and be done. But my neighborhood, like people are very on top of their yard work, so I try to be a good neighbor and do that. But last year I forgot to fertilize in the spring. I'm like, oh, it won't be that big of a deal. Was miserable. The dandelions all year were terrible, and I regretted not doing it. And by the time I realized I needed to fertilize, it was like middle of summer, and I learned from previous mistake not to fertilize in the middle of summer because it just burns the grass really bad. But so this year I'm gonna stay on top of it and fertilize early and do some grass seed and all that fun stuff. But it's almost boating season. I didn't take my boat out last year, and this might be fish related. Somebody asked me the other day if I named my boat. And I never named my boat, but one of my friends I took tubing 2 summers ago said the boat is Big Shrimpin'. So I think it was a pun or like supposed to be like Big Pimpin', but they called it Big Shrimpin' because I was, they just knew I was growing shrimp to sell. They didn't know that the business turned into like all this now. But they called it Big Shrimpin', so that's kind of the boat name now. It's unofficially Big Shrimpin'. But I just saw Jess Shrimp Granny. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope all is well. I'm sure you've been busy, but good to see you, Jess. Oh, Jess, I meant to email you. Do you want, I don't know if you still have them, diamond tetras? I believe that was you that got diamond tetras from me. I have some crazy big diamond tetras that, if you're interested in, let me know. And, yeah, let me know if you're interested in diamond tetras. Because I have a ton of them. They're huge. I got them last fall. Okay, Jess, you said yes, I probably do. If you're interested in them, I'll send them to you. I'm not trying to sell them to you. I want to send you some. I have Congos. Oh, I couldn't remember if it was diamonds or Congos you had. Okay, Congos. For somebody bought a bunch of diamond tetras for me. I can't remember who it was. I'll still cover shipping at least. Nope. This one is on the house for you, Jess. Are those my fish's brothers and sisters? Zen, was it you that got a bunch of diamond tetras? Somebody got a bunch of diamond tetras. I have a ton of them. From that order still, I have a ton. They're massive. Jess says I still want them. Jess, I'll send them to you. Zen, do you want any more? I'll send you some too. I bought like a dozen. Do you want a dozen more? Zen, that's the question. Tanks. So, I'm doing a koi pond build this year. It was going to be a koi pond, and pond in the sense that it's an enclosure, no viewing panels, view from the top only, above ground, plywood build. That changed a little bit, and that's another thing I gotta do tomorrow. I cannot forget because I forgot 2 times this week to go get it. I got a big viewing panel. I don't know the exact size. It's like 3 foot by 5 foot, or it's 4 foot by 6 foot. I'm going off a picture. Here's a little tip for you guys. If anybody wants to build a plywood aquarium and you're trying to find a big piece of glass for it, glass is super expensive, like very expensive. When you get into big panels for like a big pond, if you want like a 6 foot viewing window, acrylic's cheaper, but you can't glue acrylic to a plywood build, the like silicone doesn't adhere to the acrylic. Um, so you gotta use glass. Problem is, glass is super expensive. I got those 4 foot by 4 foot panels from OFR. I still plan on using those in the fish room, but for the outdoor koi pond, um, I wasn't going to do a window. But here's the little tip and secret: furniture glass. It's going to be tempered glass. Um, Go get your viewing panel. Oh, um, tempered glass. Now I'm confused. What was I talking about? Squirrel? Furniture, glass tables. On Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, somebody is selling a glass dining room table. Uh, it looks like it's 5 or 6 feet long, 3 or 4 feet wide. It looks like 4 feet. I'm thinking it's on the bigger end. They also said it's really heavy. It's not drilled. It doesn't have any holes. Glass just sits on top. Looking at the picture, it's at least a ½ inch thick. It's a big glass table. I'm using that glass table to make the koi pond. It was $80. So getting 4 foot by 6 foot piece of glass for $80 is a steal when it comes to doing a big pond build like that. So if anybody's ever trying to do a plywood pond, look at furniture. If you want a round window, round table glass. The one thing you gotta be careful of, and I'll warn you, is sometimes round tables, it's just like a glass, it's thin glass that they put on top of a table. You need to make sure it's thick enough for your application, but this 6 foot long table I'm looking at is thick glass. It's at least ½ inch, so I'm picking that up tomorrow. So that's a cool thing, just a little thing I'm a little geeked out about, is I found a big piece of glass, and it's not beveled edges, it's straight edge, which is the other thing I wanted. I didn't want the bevels. Like, a lot of glass tables have beveled edges for decoration. I don't want that for a fish tank, but so this is going to work out really well, I think. Bucky says, what kind of sealant do they use to adhere acrylic to acrylic then? That's called, the brand I use is Weldon. It's basically like acetone, and it doesn't really, it's not like a glue, it actually melts the acrylic together. So when you got 2 acrylic panels, you put the Weldon in there, and you might hear people online say like Weldon 4, Weldon 8, Weldon 16. The number is just the viscosity of the glue. So Weldon 4 is going to be very thin, like water. That's what they use to inject into like seals, or not seals, but corners. Weldon 16 is going to be thicker, more like Elmer's glue consistency, and I prefer the thicker stuff because you can put it together, you can see it like squish out. But what it does is actually melts the acrylic together. So it's not like a glue or silicone when you silicone glass. It's just kind of holding the panels together. Weldon actually bonds it. So yeah, that's how they do acrylics. They melt the panel. That's why acrylic tanks are supposed to last a lot longer, is because they're actually fused together versus just silicone holding 2 panels together. That's why, like, in the American market, you don't see the rimless tanks. You always have that black rim. That black rim is really just to hold everything together, so it's less likely the panels will blow apart. I'm not saying that they still won't blow apart, but it makes it less likely. Bucky said, thanks for that info, no problem. Okay. Chris, the squirrel emojis. Yep. That's a thing. I was just seeing that Chris is a member, and I didn't do a members live stream last weekend, so I'm going to try to do something for the members this weekend, and I might do something from the roof of the house tomorrow. I was just thinking, like, man, maybe I'll do like a members only live stream, and we can talk about the roof of something not. That's kind of the cool thing about members, is it's not really fish related, it's just the random squirreling effect of my normal day. But maybe I'll do something with the roof, or maybe when I go get the glass, when I get back, I can show you guys. You know, that's something I really won't make a video of just the glass part. That will be rolled into the koi pond build. But yeah, I'll try to do something with the members this week. And I'm still behind on editing videos. I have 3 or 4 videos now that I need to edit and upload. I haven't had time. With the weather getting nicer, so typically summer is a slow time for aquarium businesses, like as far as selling stuff. And right now, like, things are ramping back up. Like January and February were really slow for me as far as hard goods, but this month, I've already done. Like in the middle of this month, I did the same sales as I did all last month, so that was good. February was really slow, but this month was doing pretty good, and it's kind of ramping up. And the same thing, I keep track every month since I started the business of total order numbers and total sales per month. And typically the graph goes, you know, uphill through the summer for me, which is awesome, because by nature it's usually less in the summer as far as retail stores and in the aquarium trade. From what I hear, I know Aquarium Co-op used to talk about this, you know, because everybody's out doing stuff with their families, vacations. They're spending less time in with their tanks. Well, for me, it's kind of the opposite. Summers have been really good for me. And I actually reached out to a couple other, I guess, small businesses, or I don't know the name. Like somebody that, I mean, it's a business. Somebody that's professionally breeding fish, but it's not like a farm. So it's not like 5D Tropical. It's not like Seagrass Farms. It'd be like me, that all I'm doing is breeding fish and selling LRB. LRB would be a good example of that. So somebody like LRB, not LRB, but somebody like LRB that does that for a living. I reached out to a couple people about giving them wholesale accounts, because these people they're going through a ton of fish food. And I think I have one of them set up with a wholesale account. So I think that'd be kind of cool to start getting to, I guess, kind of wholesaling fish goods. Wholesale for me, it's not technically wholesale because I'm not buying direct from manufacturers. I'm buying through wholesalers. I'm kind of a middleman, but it's kind of, I'm filling that gray market of maybe these people don't have the money to do the minimum $500 per order, or $800 per order, or $1,000 per order. I'm kind of the middleman. I'm just giving them, like, I get like a really small markup on whatever they want, but I'm making them do like some volume. Like, hey, you gotta spend, you know, $300. I'll give you a really big discount or something like that. But I'm trying to get into more avenues of the business. Let me see. Jess says, I gotta go. Love you guys. Send all the diamonds to Zen. I have to move and don't want more fish. I still want more fish. All right, Jess. Good luck on moving. I don't know if you're moving across town or across state, but good luck. Vanessa says, I live on my boat in the summer. Yeah, last summer, I didn't take my boat out once. Now looking back, I'm like, man, that's depressing. I never took my boat out. What kind of happened with that was I went through that phase of I wanted to sell my house because my market is super hot right here. So I was like, all right, I'm going to sell the boat. I'm going to sell my four-wheeler, sell my car, all the stuff I don't need, my little fun projects. So I sold my car, I sold my four-wheeler. I never got around to listing the boat. And by the time I realized, like, all right, I'm not going to rush this moving thing, boating season was pretty much over. So this year, I need to get the boat out and sit on the lake and have some fun. I got a new stereo system for it. Like, I bought 2 summers ago that I never installed. So when it's consistently nice out on the weekend, I got some upgrades for the boat I need to do. I already put like a new radio in it, but now I got like all new like high-end speakers, and I got a new ladder for it. The boat didn't come with a ladder, so you basically had to climb up on the motor. It's an inboard motor, but on the prop, you climb up on the prop to get up on. It's got like a sun deck type thing where you can lay on this deck to suntan. You had to like kind of climb up. It's very hokey of getting in the boat. Well, the guy had this like PVC ladder that he made, but it's like PVC hooks, and like anytime you would like go to get on the ladder, it would just flex and fall off the boat. So the boat originally had a real ladder, and it must have rotted off, or they took it off for whatever reason. So I bought a new one. It's like stainless steel with like nice wooden steps, and it's collapsible, so you can fold it up. I got it on like Amazon. It was super cheap, but it's actually really nice. But I need to get the ladder put on the boat this year and get the new speakers. That way I can be out there cranking some tunes and going tubing. So I'll have to get Josh and Big Rich if he wants to come down. We'll go boating. And then my coworker, he's got a pontoon boat, and then his buddy, who's actually the roofer that's coming out tomorrow, really nice guy. I hung out with him on the lake, which would have been 2 summers ago. Is when I met him. He's got pontoon, and everybody just docks their boats together in the party cove area. And he's got a grill on his pontoon, so we can grill lunch and really hang out. And there's a rope swing off of like the side of. It's kind of cliffy area, and there's a rope swing to where kids can go on this rope swing. It's a lot of fun. Okay, I am caught up on chat, which is amazing because I'm never ever caught up. So I'm trying to think of anything else. Shrimp tank. This little shrimp tank is doing good. I don't see babies in it yet, but there is a buried female. So anytime now there'll be some babies, which is cool. I'm hoping this tank gets super populated. I've been hitting them heavy with food because you never want to shortchange shrimp with food. I think one of the things is everybody's like, don't overfeed shrimp, don't overfeed them. I have a ton of ram's horns in there, so I want to make sure that the shrimp are getting their fair share of food, and those ram's horns aren't eating all the food. So I've been dosing them pretty heavily, like 3 times a night. Typically in the morning, I'm always waking up late, so I'm in a rush to get to work. So I feed them when I get home, and then usually like an hour later, I feed them a bit more, and then I feed them before I go to bed. But yeah, they're doing great. So, and then I split the Blue Dreams off. Let's go walk out there. Let's go walk out to the fish room, guys. I split the Blue Dreams off a few months ago in the fish room because the Blue Dreams are doing really good as far as selling, and so I want to get more tanks of them going. So I took like 5 out and put them in a 20 long. And I saw some babies last week. Oh, let me show you these pleco caves I bought at the Cincinnati Fish Swap. My ears just popped, that's weird. Okay. It's wrapped in paper. These are handmade, but they're a little bit smaller than the ones I have. And I got 3 of them. It was buy 2, get 1 free. It was a heck of a deal. I think they were only like $3 or $4, and you bought 2, so I got 3 of them for like $8. Anyways, I'm trying to think if there's any new fish to show you. Not really, but we'll show you some fish while we're out here. Flip you around. Here's the Vienna guppies. And so these are supposed to be green lasers, but I'm thinking these are gold lasers. The gold laser Corridoras. Vienna guppies getting a bunch of babies, which is always good. Neon blue tuxedo guppies. And my green Corridoras in there. These are the albino corries. And then I got these. This is like another guppy line I got going on. So these are calls, what would be calls, out of one tank. And these 2 females had really good, like, pearlescent coloring. And then I found this male. I don't know where this guy came from. He was in this tank by himself, so I don't know how long he's been there. But he's got pearlescent, so I put them together. So we'll see what babies come out. CPDs in the background. Now these guys, these are probably my favorite Cory right now. These are the Concolor Corys. These guys, you see that guy right there? They swim mid-water. Not all the time. They're not constantly swimming mid-water. But they will go mid-water and swim. It's really awesome to watch. This is that, I don't have a name for them yet. But it's that guppy line I'm trying to work on with the blue and the orange and the yellow and the tail. These originally started off as blue tuxedo guppies, which is this guy right there. And I don't know how well the colors are showing up. It looks terrible on my phone. But it's basically a black body with a blue tail. I'm slowly getting these guys to get a red and orange tail with blue finish. So something I'm working on. The diamond tetras, these guys are massive. Polyidus cories. So this big one is the one I've had for a while, and these are the newer ones that I just got. Sorry about the reflection. But there's one, and there's one over there. I think I saw Mike says show off the rainbows. Here's the pictus. They're doing good. More rainbows and convex cichlids, of course. Here's, sorry, reflection. Try and block it for you guys. Black neon tetras. Mr. Metalhead just bought a bunch of these guys, but there's there. Oh, we got, what is that? So it looks like we got one of them down right there. It doesn't even look like a black neon. It kind of looks like a guppy. These rainbows, trying to block reflection. These are from Oddball Aquatics. And then this last tank up here, sorry, has my melanicories. I'm kind of scaring them. You can see them right there. And autosynclus. And there's, I'm trying to get to focus. But this is my autosynclus and melanicories. And the lights are off on these other tanks, so you're not really going to be able to see anything. Look at that pearl weed. It looks pretty sweet growing like that. Anyways, I came out here show you some shrimps. I gotta get down on the floor. And we'll see if it might take me a minute, but I did see some babies in here. Alright. And they're so small. So there's an adult blue one. Right there, and it looks almost black right now. There's, oh, look at that female back there. Can I zoom in? Oh yeah, look at that girl. She's looking good. Anyways, the other day, it's really hard, but you basically sit here, you kind of stare at a spot, but eventually you'll see little babies. Up there's one right there. Zoom. There's a little baby. That's actually like a few weeks old. They're even way smaller. Focus. Focus phone. Are you going to focus? That's a few weeks old. Right there. They're extremely tiny when they're new. And honestly, the only time I see them is like down here on the sand, but I don't see any right now. Oh, yep, there's one actually right by Mama, right there. See it down there? Tiny little guy. So they're in here breeding, which is cool. Trying to see if I see any more, but yep, there's one right there. See him? So they're breeding. This is the jungle valve. If anybody ever buys it off the website, this is where it comes from. That's kind of like why there's some sand here, is because I take it from like right here in the center, and then this plant sends out more runners and regrows it. But you're welcome, but sold out right now. Oddball says, woot woot, they're grown up. Melitania parva. That's what they are. Brian says, do you sell CPDs? I do sell them, but they're sold out right now. The ones that you see are actually going to my aunt. There's another blue dream back there. I'm flipping you guys around. It's hot out here. And I need to empty the dehumidifier because it kicked off. It's 82 degrees in here, 46% humidity. Phew. So I'll have to empty the dehumidifier after the live stream. I have to empty it twice a day now because it's warming up. It's hot. Let's look at the Barbados. These guys were laying eggs last night. I didn't pull them, which I should have, because they ate them. And I need to add calcium to this tank. Those ram's horns are a good indication. These guys are awesome. Looking good, guys. Looking good. Flip. Flip, flip, flip. Alright. Well, I think I'm almost... Pretty sure I'm at my time limit. Oh, freaking out phone. Alright. I want to check the chat, just make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I got the one about the CPDs. I want to bring in a bunch more, but CPDs almost always come in super tiny. And I hate shipping CPDs that are super tiny because they show up to your house and they're like this big. But man, CPDs are probably my favorite nano fish of all time. People call them like little mini trout fish, and they look like it. They're awesome. I would love to do a tranship order and try to bring in like 300 of them, and have a tank of 300 CPDs. Would be super awesome. Chris says, keep going with the stream. I wish I could, but I got things I need to do. I need to get the Phoenix lights on the website and the Phoenix like hang on back filters and stuff like that. I need to open the box. We could go open the box on the live stream. 2 hours, please. Oh man. I think if I do a 2-hour live stream, it would have to be like starting earlier in the night. Just because I always get super tired on Friday nights. I'm old. I used to be able to stay up till 4 a.m. and then get up and go to work. Now I'm like, it's 9 o'clock, I want to go to bed. And it doesn't help that I have... Let's go see the girls. My girls are cuddle bugs, so it doesn't help that I get in bed and they want to cuddle, and I'm all about it. They're both... Let me flip you around. She's out. And you guys gotta remember, she's deaf, so she cannot hear me right now, so she has no idea I'm sitting here recording her. She's a cutie. Everybody loves her. Like, she's a good dog, but everybody loves her because she's so cute. This is the best dog ever. Just this girl right here, aren't you? Huh? Oh, she's like, hey, scratch me. Anyways, guys, it's kind of dark. Let me rotate. Try to scoot over, get a little girl action in here. Anyways, guys, I really don't have anything else to talk about. LRB is coming up. LRB should be going live here any minute. Do it next week. Chris, you'll definitely have to catch the member live stream. I'll try to do one this weekend for sure. I know I always say that, but I will make that. Look at this guy. Hang on, I'm flipping you guys around. I'm scrolling. This axolotl was waddling around. Oh my gosh. I was like, what is that? Look at all the eggs up there. I've been treating these guys with rosy reds for the last few weeks. These guys, let me tell you, when it comes to rosy reds, they went through 24 of them in like 24 hours. And apparently that's the result, is a big cluster of eggs up there. So they've been busy. Normally they put the eggs on the plants, whether it's at Crypt or this Anubias. Anubias is looking pretty haggard. I gotta say, it looks pretty tore up. It's because I didn't have a light on it for like a month, so the leaves kind of got messed up. But if you see the rhizome's looking crazy good. Look how long those roots are going down to the substrate. Anyways, you guys are trying to breed axolotls, rosy reds, 24 will last you 24 hours, but then they end up doing a bunch of eggs, and that's what those white spots are up there. All right. Let me, oh, Havana, you want to sign us off? You want to tell everybody stay fishy? Do you want a treat? Oh. She's not food motivated at all. You say, do you want a treat? And she'll do whatever you ask her to do. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. I do appreciate it. Check out LRB. He goes live here pretty much any minute. And keep tanking along. And I'll see you guys next Friday. And members, I'll do a members-only live chat tomorrow or Sunday. Maybe tomorrow after I pick up the glass for the pond. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you. Check out the website, 614fish.com. Okay, that's it. See ya. Go get yourself a treat.